welcome to my channel. Today we are going to plant some kale. So I have two types of kale. This is the dwarf blue curled vase heirloom variety. This brand is American Seed. So I grew this last year. I had any issues with it. The kale grew with no problems. I use mainly my kale for juicing or smoothies. So if you like kale, I like this one, the dwarf one, the curly kale. And I have this one. It's called Lacinato kale. I don't know if you can see it. So this one, I think, I don't remember if I grew it last year or the year before. I'm not sure. But the package is open, so I did grow this kale. I think it was 2 years ago. So I'm gonna grow this one as well. So kale, it's gonna be a very big crop, so you need to put one plant per container. If you plant in containers, it's gonna be a 12-inch container or bigger. You can plant it in the ground, but I plant all my fruits and vegetables in pots, containers, or in my raised beds. So it will take 10 to 21 days to germinate. So we are going to plant it today, and I'm going to make 3 holes just to make sure one of them germinates, because these seeds I think are 2 years old. So when your seeds are a couple of years old, you want to plant more seeds, and that just to up your chances to have one of them germinating, because as older as they get, they don't germinate sometimes, and I don't want to take that risk. So I'm making little holes with my Sharpie, and they're like 1/4 of an inch deep, so it's not too deep. So it's 3 holes per plastic cup, and I have these cups on a tray, so you can see I have them in a tray. I already labeled them. So this row and this row is gonna be the dwarf variety, and this last one's gonna be the Lacinato one. So we're going to plant these today, and I'm gonna show you the seeds. So they're like round. It's a nice size. It's not too big, and it's not too small. So I need 3 seeds per cup. So it's gonna be 1, 2, and 3 for this one. And if you by mistake put 2 seeds in 1 hole, it's okay. They'll just both germinate or not. And if they do germinate, you just can thin them out. So just cut one of them. So this is the dwarf. I got another row of the dwarf. So I'm gonna plant this one. So no worries, you know, it's not a big deal. You know, the seeds are so small, so if you make a mistake, you just drop 2 or 3. It's not a big deal. I just thin them out. You don't have to worry about dropping more than what's expected. But so I got all the seeds in, put them back. And now we're going to be planting this one. So these seeds, they kind of look the same. And we're gonna put 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be 3 seeds per cup. And we're just gonna thin them out to 1 plant per cup. So kale grows big, needs to be 1 plant. If you plant these in containers, in pots, so it's 1 plant per pot, 12 inches or bigger. And now we're gonna close these. So most of the vegetables are the same. You plant them the same way. Some of them you just plant them a little deeper than other ones. So pretty much it's the same technique. And same technique. I'm gonna sprinkle some cinnamon. And a lot of this, well, I'm gonna say most of the packages will give you details how to plant these. Sometimes it's kind of confusing, but I made different videos and explain how to plant different vegetables and herbs. Trying to film how I plant each vegetable and herb. So I have a couple of groups. I think I planted tomatoes and eggplants together. And I have separate videos how I planted the peas. This is about kale. So it depends what you're planting, but this is not hard. You know, that's it. You just plant them, the seeds. Then I still use my cinnamon. So I'm gonna just sprinkle the cinnamon. It's pretty much the same thing I do with my other videos. So if you watch my previous videos, it's the same technique. Sprinkle the cinnamon, helps with those allergy. So it's gonna be sometimes some green growth at the top. Sometimes even with the cinnamon, you still see some spots will have it. And that's due to the growth lights. So I'm gonna put these under the light. So same technique with my other videos. If you watch my videos about growing stations, what you need to grow your vegetables, so you do need grow lights. So I have grow lights, and you need heat mats, and grow lights are very important. So after I label these, I will put some water at the bottom. Can see, put some water at the bottom, maybe like halfway on the tray, and let it sit for maybe like 20 to 30 minutes. What's gonna happen is the soil at the bottom gonna suck the water, and it's gonna go from the bottom up. And I don't usually water my seeds from the top. I don't want to disturb them. And this method I never had any issues. So when I water from the bottom up, it will just soak it, and then it's gonna be wet at the top. But my soil was already pre-moist, so it's not dry. So never plant any seeds in dry soil. So always pre-moist your soil. When I talk about soil, I'm talking about the seed starting mix. And if you watch my previous videos, I use Jiffy seed starting mix. So I pre-moist it, I sterilize it with hot boiling water, and that's what I use for all my planting. I did it for years. I never had any issues. I do use cinnamon as well. So that's it for kale. So after they sit here for 20 to 30 minutes, I will dump the water out, and I will put them on top of my heat mat, and If you look at the back of the package, it will say days to germinate, 10 to 14 days. So it will take up to 2 weeks to germinate. And after they germinate, I don't know if it says on this package, but usually you probably can keep it indoors maybe like another 5 to 6 weeks. That's what I do. Kale is a crop that like a cooler weather. It grew during the summertime. I didn't have any issues with it, but it can be outside when it's cold, so you can plant it mid-spring or late spring and it should be fine. So it says container friendly, so every time you see container friendly, that means you can plant this crop in the containers. But pretty much I think a lot of the things you can plant them in containers. I don't think you have any issues planting in a container. The only thing planting in the container sometimes, if you don't water it, the soil will dry out quicker than if you plant it in the soil or in a raised bed. So I do recommend a drip irrigation system, and I will show you how to install mine for the pots. So it's like a self-watering system, so you don't have to worry about planting watering your plants. You can just plant them, and you have a timer, and it waters your your pots, your garden. The system waters your garden every couple of hours, so, or every other day, depends how dry it gets. So every year I do install my drip irrigation system. I don't install it every year. I install it one time, but I use it every year. So usually I just install it, and usually it's good for a while. So that's it. I think that's it about kale. So then I'm gonna wait for the seed to germinate, and I will have an updated video on my kale, and I will have other videos update on my other vegetables like the sugar snap peas, tomatoes, eggplants. I planted a lot of different crops so far, a lot of herbs. The herbs are doing good, so I'm gonna show you how they look. And I planted my herbs early. It was February the 11th and the 13th, I believe. So now they're getting a couple of inches tall, and I'm very excited about my herbs. I will give an update on how everything grows. So, and I will, in my next videos, I will plant some more flowers. I got marigolds and zinnias I want to plant, and probably it's gonna be mid-April. I will plant some cucumbers, cantaloupes, watermelons, zucchini, squash. Those grow very quick indoors, so you don't want to keep them inside too long until they flower. Usually that means they just outgrowing the little cups or little plastic containers. So you don't want them to be in the house longer than 5 weeks. So I will plant them probably April 15th or maybe April 7th. And I will take them outside by May the 15th, maybe May the 20th. So it depends on the weather, because cucumbers, they like warm weather, so you don't want to take them outside when it's too cold. So that's it about this video. Please give me a thumbs up and like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.